Hello again, Chessies all over the world. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another Hallmark Channel live virtual event celebrating their hit series, Chesapeake Shores. By this point, you know who I am. I'm Deidre Behar. I'm so excited to be back again because, especially today, I'm excited. We are just days away from the big wedding episode. Of course, Jess and David, they're going to be tying the knot. So in the spirit of all things celebration, we figured we'd gather some of the gentlemen of Chesapeake Shores to start a little pre-party action. So please help me say hello to Carlo Marks, the groom himself, Andrew Francis, and Rob Buckley.
Woo.
How are you guys doing? Are you in the wedding spirit?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Getting there.
If by wedding spirit you mean I am in the mood to dance, then yes, always.
Lord, I cannot wait to see what you guys do with this wedding episode. Hallmark Channel always delivers. Chesapeake Shores always delivers. And I just want to get straight into it because as a fan myself, I have so many questions. Carlo, I want to start with you as the groom. What has it been like for you joining this show and now having this big wedding episode on the horizon here?
Well, joining the show, I guess I came in at the end of season 1 and sort of, we didn't know what my character was going to be. Actually, I started out as like a mailman or something, and then it was mystery around me, and it kind of grew. So it's just been great to be welcomed into this fictional family and the real family of the cast and crew over the years. So yeah, it's been great. And what was just the second part of your question?
I mean, you've got a wedding episode. You're the groom. Is it pressure? Is it exciting? How did you feel going into this episode?
Well, going in, I felt excited, not, no pressure or anything like that. But once you put on the suit and you see the bride walk down the aisle, like there's all this weird, tingling pressure and excitement kind of just bubbles up. So it kind of took me by surprise.
Okay, now, Andrew, I know your character, Connor, definitely going to be at his sister's wedding. Rob, you've been an amazing addition to Chesapeake Shores in the current season. Does Evan score an invite to Jess and David's wedding?
I think Evan's the kind of guy who doesn't need an invite to show up somewhere. He's, but I will say, to his credit, he does lock up an invite.
Okay, he was actually an invited guest.
He was.
Okay, so for the three of you gentlemen being in this wedding episode, I mean, Andrew, talk to me about being there that day, seeing your on-screen sister in the wedding gown. I mean, what did that feel like?
It felt really awesome. Yeah. I mean, Lacey looked absolutely gorgeous. I mean, she looks gorgeous all the time, but in that wedding dress, she looked, just spectacular. She was glowing. And it's been quite the build-up to get to this episode, to this wedding episode. So we were all super stoked, and we had it in a place. I don't know if I can say where exactly. I think it's been in the previews, but just, the scenery in the background and everybody looking top notch and everybody having a good time. And, as we were talking about before the show, the dancing, there's a lot of dancing. And so that was a lot of fun. And it was super, super cool.
Rob, why do I feel like Evan is absolutely going to be busting a move at this wedding?
Your instincts are right. Evan definitely cuts a rug. Yeah.
I mean, can you paint the picture or share maybe a fun behind the scenes moment of filming such an important scene?
Oh man, it's always fun for me. I'm a good bad dancer in real life. Like that's my brand, is like, I'm not good, but I have fun while I'm doing it, so people don't mind. And Evan had to know how to dance for a portion of it. And so it's always fun for me, like, great, watch me pretend to know what I'm doing. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I think it came together all right, because, thankfully Megan is very graceful. She knows what she's doing. But learning how to dance on the fly is always anxiety inducing for me. But I think we pulled it off.
Okay, you just triggered a million questions. I want to know everything. Evan and Abby, it sounds like they're going to be dancing together at this wedding. What can you tease?
Ooh, I just realized that was a light spoiler. Well, there you go, audience. Way to tune in. You just got some juicy goss. Yes, I think it's more a matter of Abby being polite when Evan asks her to dance, that she abides. But yeah, they get to cut a rug together, which is a first in their relationship, Will it be the last? I'll never tell. We'll see.
And when you say you had to like learn how to dance, what does that mean? Are you waltzing? Are you giving us the worm? What's happening?
Well, if I told you that, Deirdre, it wouldn't be any fun, would it? Where would the surprise be? Maybe it's a jig. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to tune in Sundays at 8 p.m. on Hallmark.
Fingers crossed for like some sort of a fun river dance moment. I would love to see you jigging out there.
It didn't actually make the cut, but at one point, you're talking about the worm, Treat actually hit the ground on the dance floor and started doing like the clock dance where you walk and spin in circles, or
The Homer Simpson, I think.
Homer Simpson. Yeah.
Yeah. So that cracked us all up. That was a really fun moment, but it didn't make the cut, unfortunately.
Okay, are we going to get a blooper reel? We need to see Treat Williams doing the worm. Please subscribe us.
We've all seen it. You don't need to. Trust us.
I think that I absolutely would love to see that. Carlo, I want to turn to you for a second because I love asking actors this question whenever there's a wedding episode. I know you're obviously very close to your character, and of course, Lacey's very close to her character. Did you guys have specific input? Were you buzzing in the ears of the producers saying, I really want to do this. I want to write my own vows. I have a vision for how this should look. I mean, did you give any sort of creative feedback?
Yeah, I think we both had a lot of input on what we were wearing and, and the vibe that we wanted to have for our wedding. Like we wanted to have, the suit and stuff, but you'll see that I'm wearing like my white sneakers, which I wear all the time. And I know Lacey had a lot of input into her wedding dress. So just like the feel of it to make us feel comfortable and feel ours, for sure.
Did you infuse the vows at all? Are we going to see Jess and David like exchange heartfelt vows?
Actually, I had Robert just off screen and he whispered into my ear what to say the whole time so I could nail it. So
we do that a lot in real life as well. It's a fun thing we do.
Yeah.
And what was it that Rob was telling you in your ear there?
He just said, speak from the heart.
Okay. Very, very sweet. And obviously I have a huge smile on my face because I think this wedding is going to be so romantic and so beautiful. But I think part of Jess and David's love story that makes it so real is that, they balance those happy, incredible moments with very real life moments, things that other couples around the world can watch and I think certainly relate to. We got to see in episode 5, they had a very real conversation about whether they want to expand their family. How do you think that conversation is going to impact them as they go into this marriage together?
Well, I think anytime you have conversations like that, they're always difficult, but they deepen a relationship. So because Jess and David have such a great yin yang, it's like, they balance each other out. And I think having those hard conversations is just going to make their love grow even stronger.
What was your reaction when you saw that storyline was being introduced? That, I feel like we love Chesapeake Shores because it's very lighthearted and it's very sweet to watch. But when you see those very real moments being injected into the script, I mean, how did you react to that?
It's just such a breath of fresh air to like you say, sink your teeth into something that's real, stuff that people are dealing with, maybe yourself is dealing with, to balance it with the levity and the fun that we're used to seeing on Chesapeake Shores, but to now tackle that real stuff, it was just a joy to work on, and so great to have a partner like Lacey because she can go fun, but she can go really real, and it's fun to go there with her.
Carlo, just a couple more wedding related questions, then of course we'll get into all things Evan and Connor. As a fan, objectively, like remove yourself from David. Do you want to see David and Jess as parents? Do you think that they should expand their family?
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, even from a humor point of view, just those two juggle so much with their B&B, just to throw a couple babies in there. I think it would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
And their relationship, seeing you and Lacey develop it over the years, what is it that you really love most about this couple and their love story?
I think it's what the thing I love most about it is just what they teach each other, whether consciously or not, because like they come from opposite worlds, and they have opposite demeanors. So it's just that, like, on paper, it doesn't seem like these two people would work together, but they just complement each other so well. that's what I love about it the most. Yeah.
And Lord, speaking of opposite worlds, we know that the families have had a little bit of friction in the past. Are we going to see that come to a head on the wedding day?
Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. Like, yes, 8:00.
Okay. If you had to tease the wedding in 3 adjectives, Carlo, what would it be?
3 adjectives. Okay. Well, worm.
But we're not going to see the worm. It's so unfair, you guys.
We might.
Also, worm is a noun. Worm is a noun, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, she said adjectives. Wormy. No, that's an adverb.
Yeah.
Worm-like might be.
Worm-like. Wormily.
Wormily, sure.
Wormily. Lovely and heartwarming.
Beautiful. Andrew, Rob, any final words that you want to share with the Chessies as we go into this really big episode? Is there anything that you really want them to pay attention to, or something maybe behind the scenes that we're not going to see on TV that was particularly fun to be on set for?
I think Andrew just gave it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, Treat Williams doing the worm and the Homer Simpson was hands down the biggest standout that's not going to make the final cut.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have your showrunner's personal info, but if I did, I would certainly text and ask why something that is so cinematically gold didn't make the final cut. And do you guys have any intel on that?
I mean, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Should we get the hashtag release the director's cut going for this episode?
Hashtag Chessie's director's cut. If you guys agree with us, please get it going, because I think as loyal fans who tune in every single week, seeing Treat Williams do the Homer Simpson, do the worm, I think it would go in Chesapeake Shores Hall of Fame, no doubt.
Agreed.
Right?
There's actually one little tidbit. We didn't have Diane Ladd up for the wedding. Mm-hmm. So all of her sort of close-up stuff and all the stuff down the aisle and when it happens was all done later. And it was done at like 8 a.m., like first thing in the morning. It was like cold. It was kind of a different day. So everything that you sort of see from the back is like when you just have the hat on is not actually Diane until you get to her close-up. But then when we got all the stuff, I showed up to do my stuff. I'm the only person that's actually in the shot with her. And we got it done in like 45 seconds. So I literally showed up, did hair and makeup and all that stuff, and was there for like 2 hours, got onto set. Our director just turned the camera on, 45 seconds on, and then I was back home at like, 8:45 in the morning. So it's a little behind the scenes.
Oh my gosh, making so much movie magic. And we're not going to get Nell at the wedding?
No, you'll get Nell.
We will, just not in that first glimpse of her.
It's shot in a certain way that we were able to get Nell in the wedding, but without her being there on that actual day because she arrived a little bit later.
I mean, you have Diane Ladd on your show. Does anyone ever just pinch themselves that they get to work with this living legend?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all the time.
All the time.
Tell me.
Here she tells. Yeah, whenever she drops Marlon Brando's name, then you kind of just like perk up.
Unreal. I mean, Rob, you kind of lit up when we mentioned Diane's name. I mean, what does she mean to you, and what does it mean to you to share the screen with her?
She's one of like the few actors that I've had the experience with where I'm like doing the first scene with her, mm-hmm. and about 20 seconds into the scene, I completely stop acting and like doing my job, and I just in my brain going, You're doing a scene with Diane Ladd. Like, how crazy is your life right now? This is bananas. Like, so unprofessional. But yeah, it's only happened a couple of times, but she was one of them.
Amazing. I cannot wait to see this wedding episode. I encourage all Chessies. I know you've got it DVR'd. I know you'll be watching live, tweeting live. But this Sunday, Chesapeake Shores, Jess and David's wedding, it's going down. And I think that's just really the tip of the iceberg. There's so much juicy stuff going on the show right now. Andrew, I follow you on Twitter. You tweeted that the season is just kind of taking off at this point. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, as the audience knows, there's a bit of a curveball right before we started the show. And so some loose ends had to be tied up, and the storylines had been around since, we were supposed to film in 2020, but with everything that happened, everything got pushed. And so the storylines were kind of set. And when the switch happened, the real big storylines kind of started from episode 3 onwards. So all the stuff that they kind of had planned to start right off the bat sort of starts at episode 3. And it just kind of takes off from here. I can't give away too much, but there is like a ton of drama. There's a lot more romance, and just this season, the Fief and Mark and Brian have brought such amazing writing to the show, and it really gets to shine in these next few episodes, right until the very last scene of the finale.
Well, I have to tell you, Andrew, speaking of shine, I really think you did such an incredible job in that boardroom, exonerating your on-screen father. I mean, that was a really powerful scene. And to see the two of them walk out together and kind of talk about what the future might hold, turning a new chapter and possibly starting his own law firm. I mean, what can you tell me about Connor's journey as it's looking forward?
Yeah. Well, that scene, Treat and I actually went for dinner beforehand and rehearsed it, and then we went back to his place and we watched The Sting. Treat always has people over watching cool movies and stuff, and so that's the one we watched, and it had a lot to do with that scene that we were going to be filming the next day.
Wow.
Connor puts it out there like, what am I going to hang up my shingle in Chesapeake Shores? And Mick puts that sort of idea that maybe he should do it into his head. And I can't say whether he does or he doesn't, but I think he's going to need a little bit of time to sort of reevaluate where his life is. That was his dream job, and then to find out that he was being circled by sharks and that they were using him, that stings. So I think that's going to affect him for a little while, but there's a possibility that he could start his own shop, maybe work for someone else. It could go in a few different directions.
Well, when you and I spoke, I believe on the first live virtual event that we did here together, you teased that maybe there was going to be a little romance entering Connor's love life. And we've seen that he has a nice connection with his colleague on the show. But now that he's not going to be at the law firm anymore, what does that mean for the potential of love there?
Yeah, I mean, he leaves the law firm, and Margaret, played by Raylene, who's a wonderful actress in person, she stays at the law firm. For how long, we don't know. And depending on what Connor sort of does, she may or may not appear a little bit later. There's definitely a strong connection between Connor and Margaret. She's very elusive, and I think Connor likes the mysteriousness of her. But there's definitely some potential there. Yeah.
Connor, do the right thing. You need to poach Margaret, and you guys need to team up and start your own law firm.
We'll see. We'll see if it's in the cards. Yeah. But
Okay.
I like your thinking. Yeah.
Okay, I'm keeping my fingers crossed there.
Yeah.
Rob, I want to talk to you for a little. We saw that Evan has got quite the place in Chesapeake Shores. He's just renting a casual little shack over there overlooking the water.
A little bungalow. Yeah.
Yeah,
He bought that. He bought that.
Bought that, right. So what does it mean to now have your character, Evan, kind of settling in and making roots in Chesapeake Shores? What does that mean for his trajectory and how he mingles with the O'Briens?
Well, I think it means that there's, if he's setting down roots, there's the potential for him to be there for an extended period of time. And, what we see is that we saw in the last episode, he got kind of lonely in his house. So he shacked up with Jess and David at the B&B and really started spending far more time with the family than I think Abby would have liked.
Yeah.
Which is a really fun dynamic in that she can't stand Evan, but everyone else in her life seems to have the exact opposite reaction. So that's fun.
Right. Well, okay, Carlo, let me ask you this question, because it seems like David, Jess, the squad, it seems like they are embracing Evan. How do you feel about welcoming him into the inner circle? And do you want to see Evan and Abby become a thing?
Yeah, we like him. I mean, I like him. Being a wealthy, David being a wealthy person himself, it's nice to have somebody he can commiserate with. I mean, I think they kind of have the same thing where they have that desire to have the family that the O'Briens represent. So I think he really understands them and would love to have more of them around.
And Andrew, how do you feel about Evan and your sister bonding and working together?
I think it's great. I love the dynamic between Evan and Abby. What Robert brings to Evan is just so hilarious. It makes me laugh out loud every time. And it's brought a side out of Megan and Abby that we haven't really seen before, you know, like her sarcasm level has like shot up. And I think that Megan, especially while playing Abby, is her most funny when she's got that dry humor. So I love the relationship, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
And Rob, I told you this the last time we spoke, but you and Megan Ori are just perfection together. The way that you poke and prod at each other, it's just simply perfection. What can you tell us about, you know, it kind of seems like it's not just a friendly working relationship anymore. He's, you know, staying at her sister's place, and he's obviously attending the wedding. What does it mean? And what can you tease for them going forward?
Well, I think you're right that it has sort of transcended just a typical working relationship, you know, in that he's kind of worming his way into her life, like against her best efforts. You know, he's befriending her family. He's staying at her sister's B&B. Like he's doing the most in terms of just being present in her life. And so I think it does force them to get to know each other more, you know, because I think Mick and Abby really made a snap judgment on who they thought Evan was based on his wealth and his success. And I think the difference, say, with like Jess and David is they didn't do that. They just met a nice guy who came into their B&B, excited to meet him, complimentary. So everyone else kind of got a chance to see a little bit more of Evan before they made a decision. Whereas I think the thing Evan is having to overcome with Abby is that she judged this book by its cover. Yeah. And it was a cover of, you know, a rich, selfish, entitled guy, you know, so he's having to do some work to overcome that.
I mean, you just used adjectives, rich, selfish, and entitled, yet I'm watching you on the show and Evan has me laughing in every scene. As an actor, how do you do that? How do you make a guy who on paper is not supposed to be particularly likable, but you have us smiling and laughing in almost every scene?
Well, I think a lot of credit is given to the writing, because I think on the page he isn't meant to be unlikable. I think that's the thing that Mick and Abby sort of, like I said, they just made this judgment, this snap judgment, and they're kind of sticking to it. Whereas like all of the evidence is to the contrary. Like, yeah, they also are having to work with him. I think it's a bit different when you have to work with someone. That's a bit different than just hanging out with them. But you're right. Like, he's a very likable guy, and they wrote him in such a way where it's you know, they set you up to be funny and to play, which that's kind of my strike zone. That's where I like to play. So it just sort of worked out nicely.
Okay, well, you have us all kind of on the edge of our seats waiting to see what's going to happen between Evan and Abby. And I feel like Evan is a grand gestures kind of guy. I feel like he lives life big and does big things. Are there any romantic gestures or big power plays that you can tease that are to come?
Light spoiler, there might be some gestures in the pipeline. However, the scope of them might surprise you.
Interesting. Okay. Look, in the vein of surprises, we're about halfway through the season. I feel like you guys are just, you're giving us such incredible work every single episode. I just sit there with a smile on my face and feel so great when I watch the show. And I know the Chessies certainly feel the same. What do we have in store for the second half of this season? I want you to please tease surprises, big moments. What are you most excited, Carlo, for the Chessies to uncover as we go into part 2 of season 5?
Well, if I told you, then they wouldn't be uncovering them.
But you can tease. I know you can.
Well, just what you said. I mean, there's a lot of big dramatic moments to come, a lot of fun moments to come. My family has not left the picture. They're going to come back in a real big way, and I think that's something that people are going to be in a different way too. They're going to be really surprised about. I think there's a lot to look forward to with all of our characters. Yeah.
Is there one moment, Carlo, in season 5 that you are so excited for fans to watch?
I think this wedding is going to be pretty exciting. It's beautifully shot, and we had so much fun on the day, and I know that translates to the screen. So it's going to be a big highlight, I think.
And I know you said you got to wear your sneakers in the wedding episode. Did you get to pick out your wedding ring or have any other little touches?
No, again, I left that to Rob. He picked that
I made sure he had plenty of accessories on the day, though.
That's right. Cufflinks too, and I think a tie clip.
Yeah. Thumb ring.
So chic. I love it. Andrew, I'm going to go to you. What are your top surprises, big moments? Carlo just teased dramatic moments. I mean, are we going to be crying in season 5?
It's tough to tease because by teasing certain things, it gives away other things. But let's see, how can I put it? There's a relationship. One of the sisters has a relationship that is blooming, and there's some trouble happens to the person that she is having that relationship with, and so Connor needs to help out. And it really takes a toll on Connor. So for the next, till the finale, there's a problem that Connor is dealing with, and there's ups and downs towards that problem. And whether or not it gets resolved or not, I can't really say, but it definitely takes a toll. And through that, a lot of drama and conflict shows itself.
It takes a toll. That sounds intense.
It's intense, and takes a toll is putting it lightly.
Okay. And Rob, I'm going to go to you. I feel like your storyline and your character has just so many fun and ridiculous things in store. But, whether it's dramatic or fun, what are you most excited for fans to see?
I mean, listen, I got one for you that's dramatic and fun. Evan finds himself in what starts off as a friendly situation, ends up, I'm just going to say it. One of the members of our beloved show assaults Evan. He gets whooped. Is it Mick mad about something Evan did to his daughter? Is it someone else? You're going to have to tune in. But there is a scene in which things go down, and Evan is one of those things.
It's Nell. Nell takes him down. I'm just kidding.
No.
Spoilers, bro.
Spoilers, Carlo. Wow.
Oh,
Nell versus Evan? Wow. Okay. Wow. That's intense. I am so excited to see what's next. Before I let you guys go, I figure in the spirit of all things wedding, can we play a little would you rather sort of wedding edition game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to ask each of you, or I'm going to ask one question. You guys all take turns chiming in. Destination wedding or a hometown wedding? Andrew?
Destination wedding. I would go to Maui on a point. That's where I'd be.
Oh, I got married in Maui.
Really?
I did, yeah.
Is it good? Is it worth it?
Highly recommend. Happy to give you all the tips and tricks if you ever do decide to plan a wedding in Maui.
Awesome. I'll reach out.
Yes. Rob, destination wedding or hometown wedding?
If it's my wedding, destination wedding. If it's a wedding I have to attend, hometown wedding.
Oh, okay. You don't want to go travel to Lake Como to go to someone's wedding?
Actually, I take it back. Destination wedding across the board, because there is no better excuse to not have to go to someone's wedding than saying, we can't make the travel work. So sorry, we can't, it's a great scapegoat.
Okay, fair. Carlo, how do you feel?
Hometown all the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Write your own vows or traditional vows, Andrew?
Write my own vows, most definitely. Yeah, I think that last longer. You can really say what you want. I would definitely write my own vows.
Rob?
100%. When I got married, I wrote my own.
Yeah. Was it just the most emotional, beautiful thing in your whole life?
I mean, I don't want to brag, but no, it was very emotional, because it was from the heart. I understand the temptation to want to because there's a lot of pressure, that's a big moment. So if you want to lift someone else's material, good on you. But I wanted it to be from the heart. And I knew my wife would kill me if I trotted out a speech from a movie she recognized or something.
Who cried more, you or your wife?
My wife.
Oh, so sweet. Carlo?
I was a close second, though. I don't mean to sound macho. I was right there with her. It was neck and neck until the end.
Wow. It was so beautiful. Carlo, write your own vows or traditional vows?
Definitely write your own, yeah, so you can do it from the heart. And throw a couple movie quotes in there as well.
Yeah, it took a lot of restraint to not include a quote from Wedding Crashers in my own vows. But I feel like there's just so many good moments that could get a good laugh in there. Fall wedding or summer wedding, Andrew?
Ooh. I would go summer wedding. Summer wedding, especially. Well, I mean, it depends. If we're destination wedding, then it could be summer or fall. It'd be nice. But if it was a hometown wedding, I'd go summer just so that we could maybe get a nice sunny day here in Vancouver. They sometimes call it Raincouver, so you can get lucky, you can get unlucky. But yeah, I think I'll go with summer.
Okay, summer for Andrew. Rob, what season are you going for?
I'm gonna go fall. You know, everyone's in a suit. I don't want to be sitting in a suit in 90-degree heat.
Couldn't agree more.
I'd like to break a sweat on the dance floor, not on the walk to my seat before the ceremony.
Right. I like to preserve my hair and makeup as much as humanly possible.
Oh, wait, didn't you have your wedding in Maui though? Isn't that hot?
But my wedding date is October 19th, so we did fall, so it was a little cooler.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Rob and I are on the same wavelength here. I did not want people sweating in suits, sitting by the sand. And Carlo, how about you?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I've been real sweaty at a lot of weddings in the middle of the summer. But you don't want to be too cold either. So I'm going to say like a shoulder season, so a spring or just going into fall, if that's.
Yes, shoulder season. I love it. Andrew, do you like to give a toast or a speech, or you prefer to kind of hang back and just kind of be the guy on the dance floor?
I like to, I haven't been to a whole lot of weddings, but I would give a speech. I gave a speech at my brother's wedding, and that was super awesome. And I think it's a good opportunity to make some funny jokes, to bring up some old stories, and then to get really heartfelt. So yeah, I would totally give a speech. Yeah. Okay,
Rob, something tells me you've given some wedding speeches and toasts before.
I have. I'll tell you what, I love giving a toast or a speech because just like Drew just said, like I like being able to roast someone and also then be sentimental. I will say though, I hate the lead up. Like I hate having to prepare the speech. It's like everything up until the moment I'm handed the mic is torture for me. And then I have a really good time while I'm doing it. But because I'm always like, it needs to be great. It needs to be perfect. It's all this self-imposed pressure. So the build up is the worst, but it's a lot of fun to give it.
Whose wedding have you given speeches at? Like, is there a specific memory that stands out?
I literally just gave a toast at my father-in-law's wedding less than 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, how was it?
It was great. We had to do it over Zoom because of all the COVID of it all. But it was great. But like my brother, my best friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Carlo, have you given any wedding speeches, or you prefer to, just chill out on the dance floor and enjoy your dinner?
Yeah, I've been a best man, and my answer is both. So I did a wedding speech, but then we broke into song and we rewrote the lyrics to a song. So we broke into song and dance as part of the wedding speech. So a hybrid.
What song did you break into?
Home by Edward Sharpe.
Oh my God. Was this like a very touching, amazing moment?
It was great. Yeah. So we rewrote the groom and the bride, and it was awesome.
Oh my gosh, incredible. My last wedding question for you guys. Do you like a traditional wedding cake, or do you like to do something different, like an ice cream bar or a churro bar or something like that? Andrew?
Wow. I would probably, I love ice cream cake is my favorite, and I love churros. So maybe an ice cream cake with like churro stuck on the top. That's probably where I'd go. Yeah.
Love it. Rob?
We actually did a churro bar at our wedding reception. So churro bar.
Amazing. I think it's such a hit with people. There's nothing better than a late night churro, right?
Yeah, and just you can just take it with you. Any handheld food, I'm an advocate of.
Yes. Sliders, churros, please. Give
corn dogs all day. Yep.
Yes. And Carlo, how do you feel?
Oh, I didn't even know that was an option. Churro for sure. That's a great idea.
I've never heard of that before, a churro bar, but I love it.
Good thing.
So are you telling me there were no churros served at Jess and David's wedding?
No, not a one.
Was there a cake smash?
No spoilers. No spoilers, Carlo.
Spoilers.
Okay, fine. Fair. I tried. I want to thank the three of you gentlemen for being so wonderful as always and sharing so many fun behind the scenes nuggets and such great delicious teases leading into Sunday's big wedding episode of Chesapeake Shores, episode 6. It's going down 8 p.m. on Hallmark Channel. And if you're on Twitter, please join us. We will be tweeting along. Will you gentlemen be on Twitter on Sunday night?
See you there.
I might be.
Okay, good. Use the hashtag Chessies. And Carlo, I cannot wait to see the groom and the bride exchanging vows. It's going to be amazing.
It will be. Can't wait for you guys to see it.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.